Hey everybody, I'm Rachel Malone. I'm Texas Director of Gun Owners of America, and I'm sitting here with these ladies with whom I'm very excited about working in the Texas legislature next session. All three of them are candidates for state representative here in Texas. We have Carrie Isaac in HD 45, which is Hays County, that area. Which counties do you have?
Blanco and Hays.
Blanco and Hays. And then we have Shelby Slawson, who's in HD 59, and that's an 8-county district.
8 counties: Comanche, Coryell, Erath, Hamilton, McCullough Mills, San Saba, and Somerville.
Excellent. And we have Jennifer Fleck in HD 47. That's Austin area, southwest of Austin?
West, mostly West Austin. A little bit of south, but mostly West Austin. Yep.
All right, Travis County area.
Yes.
All right, excellent. So the reason I'm so excited about getting these ladies and working with them in the Texas legislature is because they are committed to fighting for our right to keep and bear arms. And so often, when I'm working trying to pass constitutional carry, trying to end gun-free zones, and trying to fight against gun control, I hear the argument that gun control will help keep women safe, that red flag laws will protect women. And I, as a female, find that very demeaning. Because I feel like it insinuates that I as a woman am not going to own a gun, whereas I want to own a gun and be able to keep one to be able to defend myself. And so gun control doesn't help me at all. It hurts me. But I'm so excited about your voices being in the legislature. All of y'all are in a runoff election right now. Early voting's coming up soon. Election day is July 14th, and then there's a general election. But how do y'all feel about the possibility of working on gun rights in the Texas legislature?
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Super excited.
Yes.
Super excited.
Yes.
And Shelby, I know that gun rights has even been an issue for you in your campaign.
It has. In House District 59, we have an incumbent that a few years ago was the only Republican in Texas to vote against the campus carry bill. And we are a staunchly red district. I'm a pistol packing mama myself, grew up out in rural Texas, and we believe in our Second Amendment rights.
Awesome. So I want your voice in the Texas legislature, and Jennifer, you've joined me as a grassroots activist in some of the hearings that maybe some of you listening have been at, fighting against gun control, fighting for gun rights at the Texas legislature.
Yeah, I'm super excited to work on this issue, and more than anything, I want legislation that represents what the people want. And as a grassroots activist at the Capitol a lot, I see the people wanting to push back and support and defend the Second Amendment. So that's what I want, what the people want, and that's what I see.
Exactly, exactly. And that's not being represented the way it should be in Texas right now. And I should have mentioned that I have great memories of last summer. Shortly after the horrible attacks in Odessa and El Paso, Carrie, you showed up and walked with all those armed gun owners who were marching along Congress Avenue in Austin with our rifles, just to be sure the legislature knew that gun control is only going to hurt us. It's not going to stop the criminals. And you showed up that day.
Yeah, I believe anytime we have an issue like that happen, our gun rights are under attack more and more. And I wanted to just show everyone that no, we do not need more gun laws.
Absolutely, absolutely. So obviously with Gun Owners of America, here in Texas, one of my biggest issues is passing constitutional carry. So I love your thoughts on constitutional carry. I think it's ridiculous that Texas is in the minority. We're one of the minority states where you have to have a license to carry whether it's open or concealed, unlike 31 other states who let you carry at least open, if not both, without a license. And to be clear, we were talking earlier, one of the myths is that might let felons carry. Actually, no. As we were discussing, it's only for those who are not committing crimes. It's for those who already can have a gun on their person, in their house, drive around town with it in their car. So they can step outside of the car and pump gas. So what are y'all's thoughts on constitutional carry here in Texas?
I love to introduce myself as Constitutional Carrie Isaac.
I love it.
I love it. Yes, supporter, constitutional carry, we need to pass it.
Yeah.
We do, and I'm sorry, and I think that we see right now with everything that's going on in society and this very concerning push to defund or disband law enforcement agencies, it only underscores the importance of these citizens to be able to exercise that constitutional right for themselves.
Yeah. And I'm for constitutional carry. I know that the Republican platform, it was a Republican legislative priority in 2018, and so again, it's representative of the party and of the people. And I'm excited about just bringing fresh and new voices to the legislature, because this is something that was introduced in 2019 by Stickland. It didn't even get a hearing, and so I just think just having additional legislators that are supportive will help. And so I'm excited about just a change of guard. And I always say when I'm testifying, Texas should be leading on any issue that's important. And so again, we're not leading, we're way behind in comparison to the rest of the states in the country. So we need to pass it. Yeah.
I think it's especially important now when hardworking citizens in these cities that are wanting to ban the police, they have to pay to carry. We shouldn't have to pay to carry, especially hardworking Texans to protect themselves.
Exactly, and that's
in a city that wants to defund the police. It's not right.
Exactly. It's to protect ourselves. It's to protect our liberties.
Yes.
And I think there's, wouldn't you say there's a little bit of hypocrisy, if not a lot of hypocrisy, displayed by those who want the ability to peacefully protest, but also want guns to be taken away. The Second Amendment. Why do you feel like the Second Amendment is so important to protect?
It protects all of their rights.
Yes.
It's the one it's the most important.
If you care about any of the rights,
You have to be able to protect it. Yes.
Exactly. So another issue that comes up a lot in the legislature, in state legislation, is gun-free zones. Can I get your thoughts on gun-free zones? I think Jennifer.
Yes.
That's a lot.
No, I mean, I'm opposed to gun-free zones only because my concern is always the criminal element, and so the people who would follow that law would be law-abiding citizens, and then it's my belief that we're putting law-abiding citizens at risk, who are trying to follow the law, right? But then we're at risk because there's plenty of people who don't follow the law. It's not logical or reasonable to think that criminals are gonna obey that. So I'm opposed to that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
That don't make sense.
It doesn't.
Mhm.
That's a target on the back of those who obey the law.
Right.
It does. You have to choose between obeying the law or being able to protect yourself, and that's not a choice that I want any honest Texan to have to make.
Right.
Yeah, and the city council, San Marcos City Council, they were trying to ban people from
Yes.
being able to carry, and I called a few people and
Awesome. I remember that fight. No, thank you so much.
Yes.
I think that was before we were even connected.
yes.
I remember driving down there also to testify.
Yeah, and I didn't know, I didn't have your contact information, but I did. I called the NRA and Texas State Rifle Association. I should have called you too. I'm sorry I didn't. Anyway, they dropped it.
Yes, they did. No, thank you. I appreciate that.
One question they did ask was if the people in the, what do you call it, the house floor? The
Gallery.
gallery, thank you. If people in the gallery can carry.
Yes.
And we're like, yes, they can.
Yes.
They're like, Anyway, they backed off, so I was thankful for that. So.
Yeah, and an interesting tidbit on people being able to carry in the Capitol. Carrying the Capitol has never been banned.
Right.
There is a metal detector now, and many who are listening may not even be aware. There's a metal detector, but currently, if you have your license to carry, you can bypass.
Every time.
And I think that's an example of the fact that even our legislators understand that letting law-abiding citizens carry guns is not a danger. It actually helps keep everyone safe, and a lot of legislators themselves carry, and hopefully we have our pistol packing llamas who would also be joining the ranks of those. Absolutely. So obviously, I want to push gun rights. It's time to restore gun freedom in Texas, and we need to go a lot farther. But also, we've got to fight against gun control that is going to come up, whether from either party, that we know we're going to have to fight against. What is some gun control that y'all are concerned about?
About red flag laws and the idea out there that we should prohibit that right just on a suspicion of a crime, even under the guise of we'll provide you some due process after we've already taken away the right. I think that's very concerning.
Very dangerous, very slippery slope.
Yeah, I would just be concerned about false reporting. I mean, it just happens, right? False reporting, people with an agenda. who are trying to take guns out of, like it could just be a husband and a wife, or an ex-wife, or
an angry neighbor,
or
right?
an angry
That's what I
neighbor.
think.
I mean, that's what I imagine, because we see it in false reporting of even like child abuse. It happens, and so I can see that happening where someone has a vendetta that's been in a relationship that then they're going to be able to take away freedom based on an allegation.
Right, and I know you've done work on family issues or family legal issues, and I'm sure it never happens that in a domestic dispute, the abuser never accuses the other one of being the bad guy, right? Never. Obviously, it happens. You're gonna have those disputes where the abuser is accusing the other one of being the dangerous person, and sometimes those threats go through, and they can get the victim's gun taken away. And I'm very concerned about that.
Yeah, me too. For
Absolutely. Any other gun control issues that you want to make sure that we're fighting against? I know expanded background checks have been a thing that have come up since last session, and so we know that we need to fight hard against that. And for anybody listening, expanded background checks are just where a state says that we're going to require a background check on all private sales. Federal law already requires a background check on all sales from a gun dealer, but some states have taken the gun control measure to say we're going to require a background check. And one of the issues that we discussed was just the inaccuracy of the background check system. How do y'all feel about how would you be able to fight against expanded background checks?
Well, it would be a federal issue, so at the state level, just not creating any additional laws out there.
Right. So yeah, we just don't want to create additional hurdles for, again, who's complying with that law, right? And when there's a private sale between two people, who is actually obeying that law? Well, law-abiding citizens are obeying that law, and there's two, I'm suspicious of the government always. And so that involves tracking, that involves a database, that involves additional invasion of privacy. And so I don't foresee criminals obeying that law, like going and like making a sale between themselves and going to a licensed dealer to track that sale. That's just not going to happen. So we're just regulating law-abiding citizens, not the criminals, which is the problem. Not the guns, it's the criminals. Yeah.
So we would educate our colleagues, right, on the dangers of additional background checks.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And as a gun rights lobbyist for the grassroots, on their behalf, I'm always looking for representatives who are willing to stand up strong. So that's my goal in the Texas legislature. Just as a final question, what does the right to keep and bear arms mean to you personally? And we've talked about philosophy, we've talked about specific policies, but what does it mean to you personally?
For me, it's a freedom. Like it's like almost like a God-given freedom to be able to protect myself, to protect my family from not just criminals but tyranny. And it's something about being a Texan. And I know we're behind, right? We're behind on constitutional carry, so it's counterintuitive. But there is something about being a Texan that makes me a little more fiery about it. That it's a right that shouldn't be infringed upon.
And that's it. It's the right to protect ourselves and our families and our property. It's probably the most fundamental, quintessential Texan in our blood. If you're born and raised out in rural Texas, I'm not alone in being the pistol packing mama out there by any stretch. It's a part of our heritage.
So I think people laugh, especially people that don't believe in a strong Second Amendment. They laugh at the prospects of us having to protect ourselves against a government. But when I saw a well-armed militia guarding the Alamo not long ago,
Yes.
inspiring, I was like, exactly,
Yeah.
that's why we need this.
Yes.
That makes me proud, and that's why I like our Second Amendment, because we can protect any right.
Absolutely. It does give us, it does help us to empower ourselves. And then the issue of gun-free zones, I know we talked about previously as well, is something that Texas law provides some gun-free zones. We know that we want to fight against adding more and want to get rid of those. Anything more that y'all wanted to add on that issue?
No, I think we talked about it earlier. Yeah, we talked about just that, again, who's following that law and are we giving up an element of safety by abiding with that law in comparison to who won't be, right?
I think if someone wants to do harm, I believe they're going to look for a gun-free zone.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think it makes you a target being in one.
There's a reason.
I think it's more dangerous to be in a gun-free zone.
No, and Dana agrees with you, Carrie. So there's a reason that 94%, at least 94% of mass shootings since 1950 have occurred in a supposedly gun-free zone, that's within the United States. Both because I believe attackers seek out those places, as well as when somebody starts attacking, if they're in a place where citizens are armed, they're going to be stopped. Like we saw at White Settlements, like we've seen at other places, they're stopped immediately. If there's a citizen there, a law-abiding civilian, has a gun, is armed, can stop it. And if they're in a place where everybody's sitting ducks, that's dangerous.
Well, years ago, I remember a guy that ended up opening up in a movie theater. He passed at least one, maybe two theaters and went to the gun-free zone theater.
Exactly. They do seek out those places.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very excited to work with y'all to restore gun freedom in Texas. We'll stand against gun control and restore gun freedom. Can you share with us how everyone can find more information about you, and if they like what they hear, if they can volunteer for your campaign? Carrie, you want to start?
Sure, please go to my website at isaacfortexas.com, ISAAC4Texas.com, and you can email me there and sign up to help me block walk and phone bank, and you can send me money.
I'll take that. You can find me at Slawson for Texas, SLAWSON for Texas, and the same thing on Facebook, Slawson for Texas.
Yeah. And you can find my website at flecktexasstrong.com, and you can sign up to volunteer, or you can find my email and email me questions or issues or ask me how you can get involved. I always need help. We all always need help. I would just say in the runoff, what I tell voters who want to be helpful in a way that's not too cumbersome or overbearing is that not very many people vote in a runoff. So if you can influence your sphere of friends, family, and neighbors, and just remind them that there's a runoff, June 29th through July 3rd, July 6th through July 10th, and July 14th, remind them of a runoff, and try to express to them how important it is to vote.
Yeah, and in a runoff, turnout is everything. And just a few voters can absolutely make the difference. In fact, in your runoff, I think one vote made a difference in who made it to the runoff. So every single vote counts. No race shows up more clearly than yours, and that could be the case for anybody else's. So everyone, please make sure that you are supporting true gun rights candidates when you vote, and exercise that power that we do have. So we can continue to restore gun freedom in Texas. If you're interested in following Gun Owners of America, make sure you're joining us at gunowners.org/Texas. That's gunowners.org/Texas. Or find us on Facebook. You can join the GOA Texas Facebook group. Thank y'all so much for watching, and thank y'all ladies for joining me here today. I cannot wait to fight with you for gun rights in Texas.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.